Welcome to Prodigy Sportive Adaptations. P.S.A. podcast is an unconventional podcast that challenges the audience to think outside the box using real-life experiences, clever narratives, original quotes, and the creative use of satire in order to break the audience free from negative paradigms and push them towards their own personal growth. This is by no means a method to condemn or bash the audience, but instead encourage and showcase a different perspective that might not have been seen before. P.S.A. is designed to showcase to the listeners that the power of the mind is not a joke, and if a person can learn to control their mind and their thoughts, they will ultimately control their life. This podcast serves as a means of entertainment and educational purposes only, and not a replacement for therapy or any other type of professional help that the audience may desire. All right, y'all, what's up? It is your boy, Lil Izzy, back again with another Zoom, a hot fight episode. Good news and bad news. Good news is we got a good episode. Bad news, this is the final episode of 2020 and the last part of the World Changers Part 2. Last week, we featured my first international guest, Jamie and Riza from London, and where they shed light on their book, Where's My Lemonade? Check it out. It's a book featuring 17 authors, a mental health based book. Y'all need to check it out. It's hot. And yeah, that's with that. So going into, obviously, last week was part 1. So obviously this week's episode is titled World Changers Part 2. Meme reads, if you think you can change the world, you must first start with the change in the community and yourself first. All right. The inspiration comes from the famous quote by Dr. Martin Luther King. It says, be the change that you wish to see in the world. And it said that my other inspiration comes from last week's episodes with my amazing authors and the authors of the Where's My Lemonade and just our conversation. So kind of piggyback off that conversation with my boy here, but also adding a twist to it and adding some new. And obviously, a conversation between me and my guest was kind of sparked the inspiration for this episode. So let me, been waiting too long. Introduce yourself. What is your name? Where you from?
Donnie. I'm from Bronx, New York, but currently residing in Houston, Texas.
All right, cool. So, Donnie, what is it you do? Tell the people what you do.
Well, I work sanitation here in Houston. I've been working sanitation for over 8 years now. Also run my podcast, just trying to create and incite healthy dialogue amongst my people to kind of like, get people to start talking about things that we don't normally talk about out in the world. So we're living in one of those times where, how can we say it, breaking generational curses, where opening up to the world is seen as taboo. You're supposed to keep it in. And that's one of the things I'm trying to change right now with what I'm doing with my podcast.
Okay. How often do you drop your podcast?
Well, I drop it every Sunday. I'm on season 2. So I look, same thing as you, trying to get people to actually come be guests and speak their truth. Just people who are relatable. I'm not looking for the big names. No, I want the people that can actually relate to, the people within my community so that they can actually understand that they're not alone in what they're going through.
Right. So it's funny because you say you're not looking for big names. Because see, me, I like a little bit of both. I like having the big names because you see, I didn't have a few, but I also like having homeboy from around the way because I feel like that's what makes it to where everybody matters. I feel like some people feel like only the celebrities or the big names matter, but me, I like maybe back having one week we had somebody. Just an example, I got Jay-Z on my stuff one week. Then the next week, I got somebody I grew up with. Like I like the who works at a pharmacy or something like that. I like having the balance. So it's good that you said you specifically pick on the people that are just average everyday people. And that's good. That's pretty dope. All right. So when you hear the phrase world changer, what comes to mind?
When you hear the phrase "world changes," what comes to mind first and foremost is just changing your attitude and your perspective on life.
Okay. And what does the word community mean to you?
Togetherness, family.
All right. So last week I went ahead and defined world changer, but I'm gonna define it again. It says a person who has a deep inner desire to contribute to making the world a better place, be it through political infrastructure, technological or sociological advances, and put some such impulses to action in order to see change become a reality, no matter how small. Then I define community. It says a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. So community, everybody is part of some community, it's just how it is, part of the black community, you're a part of the white community, the Asian community, Hispanic community. So what was the inspiration, what inspired you to create Love is Free?
Coming from where I come from in New York City, you hear it a lot. It's the city that never sleeps, but it's also a city that feels cold on the inside. Uh, the bright lights aren't as bright when you go into the inner city communities, because it's kind of like a crabs in a barrel type of mentality, where it's just dog eats dog. It's worry about yourself. And what inspired me is how I came up in the Bronx. So I'm seeing deaths at a young age. I'm seeing the gang violence. I'm seeing the people not really caring about what happens to the next door neighbor because it has nothing to do with them. That's none of my business, you know. And it shouldn't be like that because the people before me were actually different. If you even know them, you know the old school way is this: you walk down the block, your kids, everyone knows you. You walk down the block, if another parent actually sees you doing bad, they can chastise you and make sure that they correct it and then take you back to your parent and you'll get in trouble again. So that kept the community close knit. It kept the community caring about each other, wanting the community to be safe and growing within it. But along the lines, it changed. And we lost that. We lost that love. We lost that respect for each other. And that's what pushed me to actually try to get that back.
Okay. All right. Love to hear it. Okay. So I got something from the other question. So what made you move from New York to Houston? Bob?
Um, Bro, honestly, don't get me wrong. Love New York. New York is in my blood. Before anybody sees this, I'm still a New Yorker. You can hear the accent, but I needed something different, something more challenging. And then coming here, I don't have no family. So what I seen in Texas, visiting Houston in particular, is Black entrepreneurship and a sense of togetherness within the Black community, whereas everyone's pushing people to own, pushing people to actually do better. Whereas in New York City, I can't even lie, it's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the taste that I've gotten so far in the year that I've been here,
Mm-hmm.
that's the attitude I give back to New York City, and they see it and they feel it, and it inspires the young ones after me to actually do that and own, and they're creating clothing lines and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted. I wanted them to see that, and seeing that, man, Houston is lovely. I love it. That's what made me move here, and it's a sense of motivation that I wake up with every day, seeing another Black person creating. So I love that.
Okay. Yeah, actually it's funny because if you know, everybody know I'm the world traveler. But New York is one of my favorite cities. I tell people that all the time. Like every time I go up there, I kick it. It's an off-air story I'm gonna tell you about it, something that happened, but like I said, I can't say that here, but I'm gonna tell you like personally. Another side note, y'all. So as I stated last week, um, the World Changers Part One. My guests were from London, and they were in London when we did the episode. Right now, we're doing World Changers Part Two. This man from New York, he live in Houston. Not only do he live in Houston, we in the same city. This man live walking distance, y'all. Like I could walk to this man's house. That's how close he live. And it's funny, it's ironic that we doing World Changers Part Two, and you live around the corner.
Yeah, it's
That's crazy.
it's wild. I watched you. We linked through IG, and just seeing you, watching your podcast, and like just seeing it. That's the type of energy that we need in the world. So I definitely want to tell you, like, you caught my eye, my attention immediately, and I just kept following and kept locking in. And I'm just like, all right, yeah, he's doing it. So
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for real. All right, so I got an article from nosidebar.com. It said, what would happen if we all started being a little more kind and helpful within our own communities? Lately, I've been trying my best to smile at and be friendly with strangers, especially when they engage with me first. There are so many people who are seeking just connection. It's something simple like I'm realizing makes a difference. It said, if we can't travel abroad, start a nonprofit, or donate to a worthy cause, we can still find small ways to make a big difference in our own communities. One of the most beautiful things about minimalism is that it simplifies our in just the right way to open up a white space in our lives and hearts for others. It says maybe we don't have the great big things to change the world. Perhaps we can simplify our thinking and start right here. So saying just seeking, okay, so what caught my attention, kind of like I do the kids at work, like, okay, we read some, what stood out to you? So for me, reading that, what stood out was when it talked about people just making connections and being nicer. And again, it's ironic talking about people being friendly because you from New York, they not friendly at all.
Well, you see, I definitely want to stop you there. I think that and you know what's funny that you brought this up. I just had this conversation the other day with a person, and I said hi to the person before they said hi to me. I said excuse me, held the door, and they said, "Hey, where you from?" And I was like, "New York." They said, "You're very friendly to be from New York," and I said, "We're not rude. It's not like we have a unsaid relationship with each other that makes it rude to the outside people. Like it's so crowded that and we're so focused on where we need to go from point A to point B, we'll walk right by you. It's like it's a move. It's just I know where you're going, you know where I'm going. We're gonna move apart from each other, but we're not. I don't see the rudeness. I see the directness, and it comes off as rude because that's just the way that we communicate with each other. It's rough. You have five boroughs of different attitudes. Every borough is not the same. You've been in New York, so you can cross from Brooklyn to Queens, and it's two different people completely on attitudes, the way that they live life, the way that they think about life. And I think that people get that confused. So no, we're not rude. We're just direct, and it comes off wrong. Comes off a lot tougher than people would actually want.
And right. So here's the thing with that. So I'm obviously live out here, but I'm from St. Louis. So St. Louis is not nice. They not the rudest, but they not really friendly at all. But I'm friendly. So I know I used to get like made fun of growing up. People like, you friendly. Why are you so friendly? But when we talk about the community, I feel like I ain't gonna even go hype myself. I'm the plug. Like I know everybody. Like I have people out here. They be like, everybody. I'm like, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how you get plugged in. If I want to get in somewhere, burp, burp, hey, can we get in? Yeah, bet. Who you bringing? Three people bet. Like I like being like that because it's to me. I like life that way. I like being the plug for somebody and they be the plug for me. So I like. Oh, I know these two people. He do this, she do that. Y'all should link and connect on that. Boom, y'all done created something. Or I like when some people get jealous of that, but you introduce two friends and people be like, they hang with each other more than hang with me. Go ahead. I like it. I love it. Go ahead. And that happens with me all the time. I've always been like the, I guess, gateway for people to like link and meet. And I'm always the one that try to bring everybody together. Like, hey, come over. We're going to be over there at 7. Hey, be over there at 7. Then call all these people, tell this person who all coming, just come. So
It
I
does.
go ahead.
It's not gonna the way you are. I'm like that also, which is weird because you don't find a lot of people like that. They call us mixy. We get that term. You're real mixy. That's what they call us in New York. But what happens is that like it's tough if you actually see it. We're talking about world changing, and even when you said it, being kind to people can actually change an attitude, change a perspective. That stands out. But the problem with being kind and just being generous to people in New York City, me coming from New York because I spent my whole life there, is that a lot of people feel that they're taken advantage of, not appreciated, or you have what you see now with so many deaths happening, personal issues between different people, which causes them to not see a bigger picture. And that's the toughest part with changing the community. Like that's what stands out for me when you're saying about being kind and changing it. It's a mentality. It's a mentality of all right, what are we gonna live for? Do we really believe in love and respect? a lot of people don't want to stand on that. They just everything is about, you know, what's next to them. I'm gonna respect my mother because that's my mother. Proximity. I'm gonna respect my mother because that's my mother. I'm gonna respect my sisters. I'm gonna respect my homeboy because I grew up with him. But then everybody else outside of that, nah, I'm not gonna just give them that respect. They gotta earn it from me. But you don't even know this person from a hole in the wall, so why not just genuinely just give them that respect and then let it be reciprocated? So you know that's something that I try to do every day. Try to smile, just try to say hi. You know, ask a random person how's your day going. You'd be surprised what happens when you do that, and you know how you can change someone's life with just one conversation. So uh, that's something that I push to do every day.
Okay. Yeah. Um, okay, I like it. I was about to say something else, but I can't remember. I'm sure they hit me when they need to. All right. So from another article on hackernoon.com, it says many people want to change the world, few actually do it. It says changing the world might seem like an insurmountable task, but I believe that it's because many people approach changing the world in the wrong way. It says to focus on trying to create wide, sweeping changes in the political and social structures around them. The problem is these structures have been sturdy for so long that it's almost impossible to change. Once a person realizes that changing the world is very difficult, they begin to give up on those dreams that they had. They let those dreams wash away and replace them with realistic goals that other people give them. Maybe you've even experienced some yourself. And then it says, have you heard the following statements? Get real. Stop chasing a pipe dream. One person can make a difference anyway. I've definitely heard probably them all the time. Um, the thing is with me, I think that because you know, again, I am the plug and I like to meet people, but me, my love language is roasting. I don't know if it's a St. Louis thing. I like flaming people. Sometimes it go too far. I ain't gonna lie. I done got better with it, but that's my love language. So that, and I know it can get annoying at times. So that's why I mean, kind of like certain people, you got to know who to leave alone. But that's my love language. And when it comes to that, I feel like going back to the topic of changing the world, I like that when people tell me I can't do something, you know, and everything is a joke to me, but it's sometimes we might be joking and laughing with people, and they might say, I might tell them what I want to do, and I'm just kind of seeing where gauging where their head is at, and they be like, "You think that's gonna work?" Or, you know, you thought, why you think that's gonna happen? You know, I had made the comment about I think I had made a comment about I'm gonna be having guests that's international. They said, "How you gonna do that?" Like people used to say like little stuff, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know for me, people didn't expect a lot from me, but I'm okay with that because it used to bother me. But now I like when people underestimate me with stuff because it makes it easy for me to do what I'm doing. You know, so many people have come to me for podcast advice that they want to start their own podcast. And when I started mine, I was anonymous the first 10 episodes
Yeah.
because I was just that fearful of, I guess, comments like that. So my question to you is, what? First of all, have you ever heard comments like that, and
Um.
how do you deal with them if you still?
Yeah. The first one is. I mean, let's just get right to it. It's the same thing with the presidential election. You know, it's about do does our voice matter? People will be like, well, it doesn't matter anyway. You know, and it's like if you don't speak up, if you don't go out there and let your voice be heard, then nothing will ever change. You know, like we do have power, and we seen that now with the election. That's the purpose. Like, you know, people don't believe it until they see it. For some reason, it's just strange. It's in a sense disgusting because if someone's coming to you with something, why not say, all right, go ahead, go do it. You know, support them. That's what you want to do. All right. Or let them explain to you what their idea is and how they plan on going about it instead of just shutting it down. But people don't see it because they're constantly shutting things down. I would never think that I have a podcast right now. I would never think that I'd be interviewed. That I would be asked to be doing this interview right now with the life that I was living and where I came from. So it's like, you know, when people see this, they say, wow, like I didn't expect you to do that. But I knew it. I felt it. I just kept it where it was just like, all right, no problem. You just got to believe in yourself. A lot of people don't, a lot of people have doubts, self doubts. And if they allow the outside, because a lot of people are not going to see the world the way that they see it,
Mm-hmm.
to seep in their mind, they'll never move forward. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we're changing the world. We always talk about it's a good change the world, but it's also a bad way to change the world too. You know, it's been people that have been. We had the Hitlers and the Nazi Germanys, and we've had, a bunch of people that you could think of that have tried to, I guess, make it evil or eviler because it's already evil world if we're being honest.
Yeah, it never
Um,
changed.
you know what?
I said it's the same thing like racism. Racism just never went away. It was just dormant until people felt comfortable enough to let it come out. So it's there.
Right. So what if, and this is just a hypothetical question. This is actually off script, really. If you knew somebody who was like they want to change the world, but then they start talking crazy, like they say they want to run the world, maybe like a dictator, or they say something crazy like that, or I want to, have people follow, serve me. Like, and you probably think, where is this coming from? I'm asking because one of the kids said that to me, and I was just like,
Power,
huh?
power, power.
Yeah.
You have to look at where that you see thoughts like that. Me coming from where I come from in the inner city, in like what we would say the hood, a bad hood, um, where you see bullying, where you see gang violence in large numbers. You know that that shows power. So when someone says, "I want dictatorship," why? Power. I want to run it. I want people to listen to me. Maybe they feel like they're not listened to, or you know what their thoughts are to other people aren't important. But now if I run it, you have to listen to me.
Mm,
You're under me. You have to pay attention to me. Every time I open my mouth, it's not, hey, all right, let him speak or let this. No, it's me first. So you got to look at it in that sense of asking. If I heard somebody say that, my first question would be, you know, why? Why would you want everyone under you to be controlled by your every word and do everything that you want them to do and not have free will?
right.
That's the thought. Why wouldn't you want a person to, try to find out if you had an idea, right? But it was a crazy idea. Would you not want someone else to come to you and be like, well, that's a crazy idea. I like it, but maybe this will kind of help you out a little better and this will fix that. You want people like that because they'll help, increase the chances of your crazy idea actually working. But it's just about power, man. We live in a world where it's about me right now. It's not about what the next person wants. It's about me and what I want and what's best for me. And that's how it is. And it has to change in order for everything else to actually get better. Once you make someone understand that, they'll get it. Even as kids, they'll understand it because they have friends that they like. So that's what you got to make them think about.
Okay. I didn't even look at it like that because I was looking at, and I try to listen to people, but when he said it, it just threw me off. Like I was like, because he say little off the wall stuff. Like he came in the room one day, he said, "Yeah, I do something." He said something where I kill kids. I said, "What?" And he like 12, so I'm like, you know what you saying. So that's
he
why,
knows he's looking for attention though. It's
yeah,
attention. Every time he says that, he gets your attention. He gets you to go. Now if he comes into class and he just goes, hey, hi, how you doing? Would you give him that same look and that same like and the talk and hey, why? Why would you say that? What is wrong? He's not getting that. So the reaction that he wants, he enjoys that reaction. He's gonna keep going. He's gonna keep doing it because it feeds him.
yeah,
He enjoys that. That's all it is.
yeah. You right. All right. Well, I'm gonna fix things tomorrow. How about that? Um, all right, so I found an action plan to change the world that comes from the same website from earlier. So it's 4 different ways that they listed, and then we're gonna give our commentary on them. So the first one says stop comparing yourself to others. Stop doing that a long time ago. I catch myself doing it sometimes, but then I fall back from it. Like, relax. They not you, you not them. What you got going is not what they got going. Because sometimes I think we feel like we should be much further than where we are, but really I have to catch myself. Sometimes I'll be feeling like I'm so old because I'm 26, and I'll be feeling like I'm like old, and I'm not. But So I have to catch myself. Do you still be comparing yourself to other people? Or you don't really do that?
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had to stop. And it's we don't call it comparing because we don't want to make ourselves seem like we comparing ourselves. That's just pride. But no, sometimes you look and you say, yo, like, man, like I need to be like, you know what I'm saying? I need to be there. I should be right here too. Like, and you have to slow down because, your time is gonna come when it's right. You just gotta, stay focused on what you're doing. Make sure your ducks are all lined up in a row. Make sure that you staying consistent and loyal to your commitment because it takes commitment if you want to succeed. So it's like just stay committed to your cause and you'll be all right. That's it. But I do catch myself. I be just like you. I be having to catch myself and slow up. Like, all right, listen, just slow up. You got it. Don't rush it, and let it work itself out.
Right. The next one, it says be authentic as genuine as possible. That's pretty much what I do. I don't think, like I said, especially just with all of the things that I do and stuff, but especially with the podcast stuff, like, there ain't nobody, it ain't too many people that doing a podcast mixtape, and especially ran it like how I ran it. It ain't too many people that come up with the topics that I come up with and the way I tweak it, and that's the beauty because like I tell people all the time, me and three other people can have the same type of podcast, and I promise you, we can even have the same topics. We're not gonna run them the same. I know we're not because my mind is, all the wires not really there. So, uh,
um, no, you absolutely correct. That's you can have that. Everybody has to understand that. You definitely run them differently. I'm not I'm not too concerned about what I'm doing, what I'm doing. I'm just more concerned about, all right, how genuine am I? Am I being me? Like, if I'm not me, I don't feel comfortable. I
yeah,
could feel it in me. Like, yo, this is just not, it's not organic. That's my focus. Like, I just want people to get all of me. And I believe that, that's why a lot of people, the people that I do have around me and the following that I do have, that's one thing they can say, that I'm genuine, that I'm organic, that I don't change. I try to be as honest as possible. I'm a horrible liar. Like, when I say bad liar, like you can see it in my face, you can see it in my body language. I can't lie for nothing. I don't know how liars do it. I tried it, does not work. Get caught. So, just being organic, man, and just trying to stay as true as I can to who I am and what I'm about.
okay. It says improve and change what's closest to you. I do that on a regular, so I'm not even, tripping off that one. And then last one, it says generosity and empathy go a long way. Not gonna lie, empathy is not the best for me. I'm trying, I really do, but sometimes I don't be caring. Like I be trying, empathy just not, it's just not there like it needs to be. Like I've watched people cry and just look at them like this.
Yeah, yeah, you're horrible.
But I'm
You're
trying.
horrible.
I,
Like, they could be right there. All they want is a hug.
but I give them. But it's like I don't know how to hug. I was told I give church hugs, so I don't.
Yeah, you're horrible. Nah, empathizing, empathy is something I'm big on. Um, Empathy comes with just understanding. I think you know what it is. I learned empathy at a young age. Like I said before earlier, when we was doing this, when we first jumped on, I come from a bad neighborhood. A lot of my young friends died before the age of 18. So, you know, born in a single mother household. So your friends are kind of like we're learning from each other as we go along and as we grow. So it's like, you see a friend and his attitude has changed, or he looking like he want to cry, but he don't want to cry because kids, yo, you soft, yo, wipe your face. I be the one to pull him to the side. Yo, come in, yo, talk to me. Let's go to the store. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I learned that at a young age that sometimes that, like, yo, you really need that. That's being like, it's imperative because there's a lot of people who hold a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and a lot of confusion and feel like no one understands them. No
Yeah,
one cares. So if they can get that one person, they're all right. So I try to do that.
And you know what? I take that back. I have empathy, but I think it depends on what it is. And for me, that's what it is. It depends. Sometimes some stuff I deem which is not right. Like, oh, that's you this stupid. What you know, but I don't say it, but my facial expressions say it. So that's the issue. And so it'd be like, yeah. And so I just be like, I just be like, my face do it. I got a list of people that have changed the world. I didn't get too many because the list would be endless because there's a lot of people, but just a few people, and I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard the names before. Of course, you heard of Martin Luther King, civil rights movement, all of that. You've heard of Abraham Lincoln. You've heard of Nelson Mandela. We know what he did as far as in Africa, um, apartheid, all of that. Albert Einstein invented the light bulb. Malcolm X, Malcolm X, we know about Malcolm X, radical man.
Yes.
And I put Picasso on the list just to laugh because he's a Spanish painter. I mean, he changed the world, in his way.
Art wise, I believe he opened up the minds of the artistic. So I give it to him. The
Yeah, no.
creative.
Yeah, somebody said Helen Keller, but I didn't want to put her on here, so I didn't feel like doing that. I just didn't. But whatever. All right. So tips and scenarios for my college students. So I say if you want to change your community, you definitely have to start in the community. You know what I'm saying? Especially these colleges always having some programs for that. Find groups, find people who doing what you want to do. Because at college is always a group for something that you want every time. I've seen it. The groups you probably think never exist. And if they don't have them, start it. See what you can do to start that group. See who you can connect with. That's all this college is about. And like I said, going to TSU, HBCU, that's all they taught us was networking. And that's something I had already had, but college, it took it to a new level. So do you got any tips and scenarios for people in college that's listening who,
Um, what I would say for people in colleges is have those deep conversations with your peers in your community, because some of them have ideas. Some of them may not be able to go to college, but or 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 had the opportunity to go. But if you're listening to them, they see stuff that's actually directly affecting the community, and they want to change and probably just don't know how to change it. And because you're there, you have the networks, you have the networking around you, and you're meeting people and building. Take those ideas, help them expand. You know what I'm saying? Their thought process, and just get the right team around you. Get the right team around you and build, and just go into your community yourself, because no one's gonna care about your community the way you do. That's my biggest advice for everyone to remember. You lived it. You've been there. You know how things affect the people next to you, the people that you see every day. You know who really cares about you. It's going to be on you to actually create that change, but you have to really want it and know that it's not going to be easy, so you're going to have to work for it. So just get the right team around you and go in there yourself and do it.
All right, cool. So now we're going into the last and final segment. All right. The last segment, as you know how I do with my guests, the last game time 2020. All right. So today's game is titled Change or No Change. I'm going to name 7 scenarios, and I want you to tell me whether or not you would change it or no, leave it like it is. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The first one, a block full of killers and robbers. You changing it or no change?
Change.
Okay. School full of nerds.
Changing that.
Okay. Teaching a child to hit back if they've been hit. You changing or you not changing that?
I ain't changing that.
It's funny. I saw on Twitter it was really an argument about that a long time ago. And they was like, no, I don't believe in fighting. And they was like, you gonna let somebody beat your child up? They was like, well, they need to go tell an adult.
I'm not changing that, man. They hit you, hit back. I was raised like that.
You get in trouble if you didn't hit back.
That's a fact. Gotta hit back.
Um, you change this daylight savings time or you keep or you no change?
Nah, no change. I like that. I like the setback. When you out, that extra hour help you out. I'm with it.
Man, this can't be the same daylight savings, bro. They didn't save some more daylight out of this one because this ain't the same.
I'm with it. I'm with it. I'll keep it that way.
You be in the bed by 5, bro. Like looking around, like, what am I doing? All right, change or no change. You setting up a vision board party,
Hold on, say that again.
like a vision board party. Would you change that or no change?
Vision board party?
Yeah.
Uh, nah, I wouldn't change that.
All right. Forex trading. You changing that or no change?
Foreign exchange?
Forex trading.
Forex share? Oh, Forex? I'm changing that. I don't know what they. Yo, listen, let me tell you something. It's so many rich people on Forex. I'm just trying to understand. And then they make it seem like they don't want to share secret. Like, how can so many rich people be doing this Forex stuff, but the 1% isn't increasing? I'm changing it. I'm changing it.
Look, they like I got some friends that's for it, so y'all don't cancel me for what I'm about to say. But I feel like y'all be like y'all like a cult, like y'all like cult, like come on, come join Forex. And then but they don't want to tell you. That's the thing, they don't want to tell you. They be like, this is a real nigga party, you cannot get in. That's how RPFBG duck. All right. The last one is biased, so I already know what you're gonna say. Would you change or no change? Continue to produce a hot fire podcast. You changing or no change?
Nah, I'm not changing that, man. I feel that it's creative. I feel that it gives people an opportunity to actually voice some serious issues. Like you said, listen to the people that always think that it's just too many podcasts out there, too many rappers, too many whatever, right? It's like you said, your podcast could be the same as 5 other podcasts, but your message comes across differently and might hit differently to the same person. It's the same thing like your friends. You might be saying the same thing to your friend every day, but then he hears it from somebody else and comes back to you like, yo, man, I just decided, man, I'm gonna start opening up a bank account over here. And you like, yo, I've been telling you that from, yeah, but I was just talking to such and such and he told me that and it just clicked.
Mm-hmm.
See, so no, continue to create fire podcasts, man. Continue to let your voices be heard. We need that.
All right. Well, we came to the end of the episode and the season finale. So before you go, any closing remarks before I give mine?
Uh World change, man. I think that's the only way we're gonna create a better living for not only ourselves but the ones after us, our kids. We just owe it for the people before us to actually keep that fight going and create something better. Too many people dying unjustly. Uh, it's man, if you don't want your community to be better, like we got to stop moving out and trying to build up our people the right way. So that's my message to everyone, man. We can do it. It's hard work. Figure out a way. There's always a way to actually, what I'm saying, create change. You just gotta work to actually figure it out. Figure out a way to actually touch people the right way. So that's my message.
Okay. Um, and in my closing remarks, I want to thank you for coming through. I want to thank literally every stream this season. From me coming back earlier than expected because of a sponsorship deal to creating a podcast mixtape to dealing with the beginning of COVID, dealing with the election stuff, dealing with, you know, all the guests that I've had from people who big names to then people who, again, like always, round the way people who got stuff coming up, people who just regular average Joes who just doing this for fun. Literally thank everybody that's continuing. I know y'all gonna miss me these 3 months, but you're gonna still see me on other people's stuff. On Love Is Free, I'm gonna be on that soon. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Um, you know,
That's a fact.
I'm gonna be on a lot of different things for the next few months. So that's all I got for the last time of 2020. P.S.A. signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are and make your mind up. Don't let it make you.
Karen, Karen, Karen.